There are certain faces that become part of the fabric of a generation. They grow up on our screens, and in a way, we feel like we grow up right alongside them. Their triumphs feel like our own, their laughter is infectious, and their presence becomes a comforting, familiar constant. But what happens when that constant is suddenly, inexplicably gone? What are we left with when a life so full of vibrant light and limitless promise is extinguished in the blink of an eye? Today we delve into the life of a young man who was more than just a familiar face. He was a whirlwind of talent, a beacon of kindness, and a soul whose wisdom seemed to far exceed his years. His name was Cameron Boyce. For millions, he was the mischievous Luke Ross from Disney's Jessie, or the good-hearted Carlos DeVille from the Descendants saga. He was a dancer who moved with effortless grace and an actor who could command a scene with just a flicker of his expressive eyes. But behind the megawatt smile and the global fame was a story of profound depth, a story rooted in a legacy of courage, a quiet battle fought in private, and an unshakable commitment to leaving the world a better place than he found it. To truly understand the forces that shaped Cameron Boyce, we have to look back at the world he was born into. Los Angeles on May 28, 1999, was a city buzzing with the nervous energy of a new millennium. The internet was transforming from a novelty into a necessity. Reality television was on the cusp of exploding, and the very nature of celebrity was beginning to shift. This was the era of the burgeoning digital age, a time when a new generation of stars would be forged not just in Hollywood studios, but on screens in every home, accessible 24/7 through an ever-expanding universe of cable channels. For young entertainers, Disney Channel was the undisputed kingmaker. It was a finely tuned machine, a cultural powerhouse that had perfected the formula for creating family-friendly content and launching its young actors into orbits of international stardom. Shows like Lizzie McGuire, That's So Raven, and The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody weren't just television programs. They were cultural touchstones that defined a childhood for millions. To become a Disney star was to become part of a legacy, to have your face on lunchboxes, your songs on the radio, and your posters on bedroom walls across the globe. Cameron grew up in this environment, a biracial kid in the heart of the entertainment industry. His father, Victor Boyce, is African American, and his mother, Libby Boyce, is Jewish. This rich, multicultural heritage was a cornerstone of his identity. He wasn't just a product of Hollywood. He was a product of a diverse, creative, and socially conscious family. They provided a crucial anchor of normalcy and support in a city that can so easily swallow young talent whole. From a very early age, Cameron was not just surrounded by the arts, but also by a deep-seated sense of history and social responsibility, a theme that would become the quiet guiding force of his entire life. It was in this dynamic, evolving landscape of late 90s LA that a boy with an old soul and an electrifying spark began his journey. Long before he was a household name, Cameron Boyce was a kid captivated by movement. His first language wasn't lines from a script, it was dance. He found an outlet for his boundless energy in breakdancing, a form that required discipline, creativity, and a fearless sense of expression. With a group of his friends, he formed a dance crew they called X-Mob. This wasn't just a hobby, it was a passion. It was where he learned to collaborate, to command a space, and to tell a story with his body. This foundation in dance would prove invaluable, giving him a physical grace and a sense of rhythm that infused all of his future performances. His magnetic energy was impossible to ignore, and it wasn't long before the entertainment industry took notice. His professional career began, as it does for so many young talents, in the world of commercials and music videos. These weren't just bit parts, they were his training ground. He appeared in a music video for the band Panic at the disco, playing a younger version of guitarist Ryan Ross in their video for That Green Gentleman, Things Have Changed. He popped up again for artists like Hozier and in a promotional campaign for the video game Just Dance Kids. Each small role was a lesson in hitting his marks, understanding camera angles, and channeling his charisma on command. Then came the movies. His feature film debut in 2008 was in the horror film Mirrors, starring Kiefer Sutherland. It was an intense, psychologically demanding role for any actor, let alone a 9-year-old. Yet even then, he showed a remarkable maturity and an ability to tap into complex emotions. This wasn't the light, bubbly world of children's entertainment. It was a serious film that required focus and a different kind of performance. He followed this with a small role in the thriller Eagle Eye, but it was his role in the 2010 blockbuster comedy Grown Ups that truly put him on the map. He was cast as Keithy Feder, the spoiled but lovable son of Adam Sandler's character. Being on a set with comedic legends like Sandler, Chris Rock, Kevin James, and David Spade was like being enrolled in a masterclass of comedy. Cameron soaked it all in. He wasn't just a kid actor, he was a student of the craft. Adam Sandler, in particular, took a special liking to him. He saw the spark, the raw talent, and the genuine kindness in the young boy. Sandler would become a mentor and a friend, casting Cameron again in the sequel, Grown Ups 2. The relationship they built was genuine, and Sandler's heartfelt tribute after Cameron's passing spoke volumes about the deep impression the young man had made on one of Hollywood's biggest stars. These early years were not just about building a resume, they were about building a foundation of professionalism, versatility, and, most importantly, a reputation as a kid who was not only talented, but also a joy to have on set. In 2011, the Disney machine came calling, and Cameron's life would change forever. He was cast as Luke Ross in the sitcom Jessie. The show centered on a wealthy New York City family and their new nanny, Jessie, played by Debbie Ryan. Cameron's character, Luke, was one of 4 adopted children, a mischievous, girl-crazy, freckle-faced kid whose boundless energy was the source of much of the show's comedy. From the very first episode, Cameron's performance was a standout. He infused Luke with a charm that made him more than just a troublemaker. He was lovable, he was funny, and he had a hidden vulnerability that Cameron expertly brought to the surface. His background in dance was immediately put to use. Luke was often seen busting out moves, and Cameron's natural physical comedy became a hallmark of the character. He wasn't just reciting lines, he was creating a fully realized character who felt real and relatable to millions of kids watching at home. The set of Jessie became a second home, and the cast became a second family. For 4 years and 98 episodes, Cameron and his co-stars, Debbie Ryan, Peyton List, Skay Jackson, and Karen Brar, grew up together in front of the cameras. The chemistry between them was palpable and genuine. Behind the scenes, they were more than just colleagues. They were siblings in every sense of the word. They shared inside jokes, navigated the pressures of child stardom together, and formed bonds that would last a lifetime. Skay Jackson, who played his younger sister Zuri, often spoke of Cameron as the big brother she never had. She recalled how he would always look out for her, how his infectious laughter could diffuse any tension on set, and how he possessed a maturity that made him a natural leader among the young cast. He was known for being the one who kept the energy up, who would start impromptu dance battles between takes, and who always had a kind word for everyone, from the producers to the crew members. As the years went on, audiences watched Cameron transition from a young boy into a teenager on screen. His voice deepened, he grew taller, and his portrayal of Luke evolved with him. The character became more than just a collection of running gags. He developed emotional depth, navigating crushes, friendships, and the complexities of being part of a large, unconventional family. The role of Luke Ross cemented Cameron's status as a bona fide teen idol. He had become one of the most recognizable faces on television, a star whose talent seemed to have no ceiling. Jessie wasn't just a successful show, it was a cultural touchstone for a generation, and at its heart was a freckled-faced boy whose star was shining brighter than ever. While Jessie had made him a television star, it was a new Disney project that would launch him into the stratosphere of global phenomena. In 2015, Disney Channel premiered Descendants, a movie musical with a brilliantly imaginative premise. What if the teenage children of Disney's most infamous villains were given a chance to leave their prison on the Isle of the Lost and attend school in the idyllic kingdom of Auradon? The concept was an instant smash hit. Cameron was cast as Carlos, the son of the notoriously cruel Cruella de Vil. It was a role that allowed him to showcase a completely different side of his acting abilities. Unlike the confident and outgoing Luke Ross, Carlos was introduced as a bundle of nerves. He was twitchy, anxious, and terrified of dogs, a fear instilled in him by his monstrous mother. He was the tech-savvy brains of the core four villain kids, alongside Mal, daughter of Maleficent, Evie, daughter of the Evil Queen, and Jay, son of Jafar. The role was transformative. Cameron dyed his hair platinum blonde and embraced a punk rock aesthetic, but the real transformation was internal. He beautifully portrayed Carlos's journey from a frightened, insecure boy to a brave and loyal friend. One of the most heartwarming arcs in the film is Carlos's relationship with Dude, a campus mutt he is initially petrified of. Through this friendship, Carlos learns that the world is not as scary as his mother made it seem, and that he has the capacity for love and compassion. Cameron's performance was filled with nuance. He captured Carlos's initial fear with a jittery physicality and his eventual bravery with a quiet, growing confidence. Descendants was more than a movie. It was a sensation. The music, the choreography, and the compelling story about choosing your own destiny resonated deeply with audiences worldwide. The film's soundtrack topped the charts and its merchandise flew off the shelves. The success led to two sequels, Descendants 2 in 2017 and Descendants 3 in 2019, which deepened the lore and the characters' journeys. The camaraderie between Cameron and his co-stars, Dove Cameron, Sophia Carson, and Boo Boo Stewart, was electric. They became incredibly close, referring to themselves as the Core Four. Dove Cameron often described Cameron as her Earth Angel, someone whose presence was grounding and whose humor was a constant source of joy. The director and choreographer, Kenny Ortega, a legend known for his work on High School Musical and Hocus Pocus, saw something truly special in Cameron. He marveled at his natural talent as a dancer and his instinctive abilities as an actor. The dance numbers in the Descendants films were elaborate and physically demanding, but for Cameron, it was a return to his first love. He moved with a fluid, explosive energy that made him a focal point in every musical sequence. He wasn't just executing choreography. He was performing with his entire being, his passion for dance shining through in every frame. His portrayal of Carlos became iconic. He took a character who could have been a simple sidekick and gave him heart, humor, and a profound emotional arc. For millions of fans, he was the embodiment of the franchise's central message. It doesn't matter where you come from. What matters is the person you choose to be. While his Disney career was at its zenith, Cameron Boyce was actively seeking to broaden his artistic horizons. He was keenly aware of the Disney kid stereotype and was determined to prove his versatility. He took on the lead role in the Disney XD series Gamer's Guide to Pretty Much Everything, playing a professional video gamer who is forced to return to high school. The role allowed him to flex his comedic muscles in a new way, playing a character with a bit more of an ego and a different kind of charm than Luke Ross. But it was his work in independent film that truly signaled the direction he was headed. He sought out roles that were complex, challenging, and far removed from the polished world of Disney. One of his final projects, the film Runt, was a stark and gritty exploration of the dark side of high school, dealing with themes of bullying, violence, and the consequences of neglect. Cameron played Cal, a teenager who, after being relentlessly tormented, is pushed to a dark breaking point. The performance was a revelation. It was raw, powerful, and emotionally devastating, showcasing a depth and a range that many people didn't know he possessed. The film, released posthumously, served as a powerful final statement about his immense talent and his ambition to tackle meaningful, difficult subject matter. He also stepped into more adult-oriented television, joining the cast of the HBO series Mrs. Fletcher, starring Kathryn Hahn. Though his role was small, it was significant, a step into the world of premium, critically acclaimed television. He was also set to star in the TV series Paradise City, a spin-off of the film American Satan, where he would have played a musician navigating the treacherous world of the rock and roll industry. These choices were deliberate. In interviews, Cameron spoke about his desire to tell important stories, to be involved in projects that sparked conversation and made people think. He was an artist who was just beginning to explore the full scope of his abilities. He had successfully navigated the treacherous transition from child star to teen idol, and he was on the cusp of a new, exciting chapter as a mature and respected actor. He was carefully and intelligently building a bridge from his Disney past to a future filled with diverse and challenging roles. The tragedy is that we only got to see the very beginning of what that future would have held. To understand the true essence of Cameron Boyce, you have to look beyond the acting credits and the red carpets. You have to look at his heart. His compassion and dedication to philanthropy were not afterthoughts or PR stunts. They were fundamental to who he got. This deep-seated desire to give back was instilled in him from a young age, heavily influenced by his family's own remarkable history. The key to understanding his passion for social justice lies with his paternal grandmother, Joanne Boyce. In 1956, she was one of the Clinton 12, a group of courageous African-American high school students who were the first to desegregate a state-supported high school in the American South. In Clinton, Tennessee, they faced down angry mobs, threats, and unimaginable hatred, all for the right to an equal education. This story of bravery and resilience was part of Cameron's family lore. It wasn't just a history lesson, it was his heritage. He spoke about his grandmother with immense pride, stating that her courage gave him a profound sense of purpose. He understood that he came from a line of people who fought for change, and he felt a deep responsibility to continue that legacy. This sense of duty manifested most prominently in his work with the Thirst Project, a nonprofit organization dedicated to building freshwater wells in developing communities, bringing clean water to those who need it most. Cameron wasn't just a spokesperson. He was a passionate, hands-on advocate. He became involved with the organization as a young teenager and quickly became one of its most powerful voices. He used his massive social media platform to educate his millions of followers about the global water crisis. He launched fundraising campaigns, including one for his 20th birthday, where he raised over $30,000 in a matter of days, enough to build 2 entire wells in Swaziland. But his involvement went deeper. He traveled with the Thirst Project to see their work firsthand. These trips were transformative. He met the people whose lives were being changed, he listened to their stories, and he returned with an even greater fire to make a difference. Seth Maxwell, the CEO of the Thirst Project, spoke of Cameron's unique ability to connect with people. He wasn't a celebrity who stood apart. He was someone who rolled up his sleeves and engaged with genuine empathy and humility. Beyond the Thirst Project, he was involved with numerous other causes. He supported the It's On Us campaign, which works to combat sexual assault on college campuses. He worked with United Way's initiative to end homelessness. He was also a strong advocate for epilepsy awareness, a cause that was deeply personal. He understood the power of his platform not as a tool for self-promotion, but as a megaphone for the voiceless. In one of his final interviews, he delivered a quote that has now become his defining ethos. "We all go. I hope that I am leaving behind something that is bigger than me. I hope to be a difference maker." He wasn't just saying the words, he was living them every single day. Behind the bright lights and the public persona, Cameron Boyce was fighting a private battle. For several years, he had been living with epilepsy, a neurological disorder that causes unpredictable seizures. It was a condition he and his family managed privately, and he never allowed it to define him or limit his ambitions. To the outside world, he was a picture of health and vitality, a high-energy dancer, a dedicated actor working long hours on set. The fact that he was managing a serious medical condition while maintaining such a demanding career is a testament to his incredible strength and resilience. His family revealed that he had his first seizure at the age of 16 and a half. Following that, he had a few more major seizures over the years. They sought the best medical care, working with neurologists to find a treatment plan that would manage his condition. For a young person, especially one in the public eye, an epilepsy diagnosis can be frightening and isolating. There is still a stigma surrounding the condition born from a lack of understanding. Yet Cameron faced it with the same quiet courage that defined so much of his character. He continued to pursue his passions with unwavering determination. He danced, he acted, he traveled, and he dedicated himself to his philanthropic work, all while navigating the uncertainties of his health. On the night of July 5, 2019, Cameron spent time with his father, just a normal, happy evening. His parents said he was in good spirits. He then went to bed. Sometime during the night, he suffered a massive seizure in his sleep. This fatal event is known as SUDEP, or sudden unexpected death in epilepsy. It is a rare but devastating outcome that can occur in people with epilepsy, where a seizure leads to a fatal cascade of events, often involving respiratory or cardiac arrest. The world woke up on July 6th to the shocking and heartbreaking news. Cameron Boyce was dead at the age of 20. The initial announcement was met with disbelief, which quickly turned into a global outpouring of grief. The cause of death was not immediately released, leading to speculation, but his family soon made the courageous decision to share his diagnosis, hoping to raise awareness and honor his memory by being transparent. His passing sent a seismic shockwave through the entertainment community and among his millions of fans. It felt incomprehensible. He was so young, so full of life, so clearly on the trajectory to even greater things. Tributes flooded in from every corner of the world. His Jessie and Descendants castmates shared deeply personal, heart-wrenching messages, speaking of a grief that felt like losing a brother. Adam Sandler wrote, "Too young, too sweet, too funny, just the nicest, most talented, and most decent kid around. Former First Lady Michelle Obama, who had met Cameron during a visit to the Jessie set, posted a tribute, remembering him as someone with so much talent, so much heart, and so much life ahead of him. The grief was a testament to the person he was. The stories that emerged were not about a celebrity. They were about a friend, a son, a mentor, a kind soul. People shared anecdotes of his generosity, his humility, and the way he made everyone around him feel seen and valued. His death was not just the loss of a talented performer. It was the loss of a truly exceptional human being. It was a stark and brutal reminder of life's fragility and the silent battles that so many people fight, even those who seem to have it all. In the immediate aftermath of such a devastating loss, it would have been understandable for his family, his parents, Victor and Libby, and his younger sister, Maya, to retreat into their private grief. But, guided by the spirit of the son they had raised, they chose to turn their pain into purpose. They knew that the best way to honor Cameron was to continue the work he was so passionate about. Just weeks after his passing, they launched the Cameron Boyce Foundation. The foundation was created to be a living embodiment of Cameron's legacy. Its mission is to support the causes that were closest to his heart, ending gun violence, advocating for clean water, and raising awareness for epilepsy and SUDEP. It wasn't enough to simply mourn him. They wanted to ensure that his desire to be a difference maker would live on and grow even stronger in his absence. One of the foundation's most prominent initiatives is Wielding Peace. This was a project Cameron had been developing before he died. It's a social media campaign that uses creative imagery, people from all walks of life wielding objects that represent their passion and creativity, things that are their alternative to a weapon. The message is simple and profound: choose creativity over violence. The foundation brought his vision to life, and it has since become a powerful movement, spreading a message of peace and positive self-expression. The Cameron Boyce Foundation has also become a powerful force in the fight against epilepsy. By sharing Cameron's story, his family has helped to destigmatize the condition and has raised significant funds for research into SUDEP. They are working to ensure that no other family has to endure the same sudden tragic loss. They have partnered with organizations like the Epilepsy Foundation to fund research and to promote education so that people understand the risks and can take preventative measures. The continued love and support from his friends and colleagues have been a crucial part of this legacy. His Descendants co-stars have become passionate ambassadors for the foundation. Kenny Ortega has organized tribute events. Adam Sandler has consistently used his platform to promote the foundation's work. It is a collective effort, a community united by their love for Cameron and their determination to keep his light shining. In the end, how do you measure a life? Is it in the number of years lived, the awards won, or the box office numbers? Or is it measured in something less tangible? Is it measured in the joy you brought to others, in the comfort you provided, in the positive change you inspired? For Cameron Boyce, his 20 years on this earth were lived with an intensity and a purpose that many people don't find in a lifetime. The tragedy of his loss is immense, and the what-ifs will always linger. What other incredible characters would he have brought to life? What other causes would he have championed? But to dwell only on what was lost is to miss the brilliance of what he gave. He gave us laughter. He gave us unforgettable characters. And he gave us a powerful example of how to live with an open heart. The light he cast was far too bright to ever be extinguished by his absence. It lives on in the work of his foundation, in the memories of those who loved him, and in the spirit of anyone who chooses kindness, who chooses to use their voice for good, who chooses to be a difference maker. Cameron Boyce left behind a legacy not of sadness, but of inspiration, and that is a legacy that will truly live on forever.